Hello all, and welcome to And Us Voices, where we gather some film friends to help us put the S in Movies and Us. My name is Jennifer Hahn.
And I'm Sarah Callan.
And we found that movies can be more than just entertainment, but a way to connect more deeply with others in the world around us. We love hearing thoughts from other movie watchers, movie fans, movie lovers, so we invited a few of them to share with us today. In this episode, we will answer the question, what is your favorite scene from The Empire Strikes Back? After Sarah and I share our favorite scenes, you will hear from some of our film friends who were gracious enough to contribute to this episode. Before we dive in, though, Sarah, can we talk about how we're doing a new thing? This is a brand new form of content, structure. Maybe we could share a little about kind of the origin story of this.
Yeah, we are doing a new thing, trying something new. We're going to see what happens. Yeah, obviously, our name, Movies and Us, the and us is a big part of the name. So we're always trying to find ways to include other people in the conversation. You know, like I love talking about movies with Jen. I have a blast. I think it's super fun. But we want it to be a more communal experience. And I don't know, I feel so fortunate, and I'm sure you do too, Jen, to be plugged into such an incredible community of film fans. And so we just wanted to try and find a way to include more voices here. So this will be an opportunity for them to share their thoughts, and maybe you listening can discover another favorite film podcast, you know? So just trying to bring more people into the conversation and really create that community piece that we're always looking to build here on Movies and Us.
Truly, putting the us in Movies and Us, I think, is the succinct way to summarize it. When we picked our new name and how we wanted to think about what we cared deeply about with this podcast, it is the us. I mean, movies are incredible and so powerful, but it's how we react to them, how we respond to them, the things that touch our hearts, the things that make us laugh. All of those things are so much more part of the movie-going experience and the movie community experience. I have a fun little anecdote. I was just this weekend visiting some friends in LA, and the topic of Saltburn came up because they had listened to our Saltburn conversation, and they had so many thoughts about that movie. But they asked me, like, what is it that you really liked about Saltburn? And I went on and on about how volatile and polarizing the film was, how you had people who absolutely adored it and felt like it was so symbolic and meaning and deep. And then there's the other folks that are like, it's just style and substance, and had all these other hot takes about it. And so that is so fun and so interesting when we all react to films in very different ways. And I think bringing together these people that are in our beloved film community here on the interweb, some of our podcast friends and movie friends together, and kind of this collage of voices where different things will resonate differently and more deeply in other areas with everyone in unique ways. And that is so fun. So we think of these episodes almost like a collage of all of the different ways that different people are reacting to one film, the same film, but perhaps different things really stand out to them. And that's really fun and interesting for us to be able to piece together in this really fun way. So yeah, we're excited to launch this new series. Sarah and I are just kind of like crazy and unhinged these days, and we're just launching all kinds of new things.
Yep.
We have no chill.
No, we don't. But honestly, we're having fun, so it's fine.
We totally are. Yeah. So, And Us Voices, we're excited to do more of these. For this one today, specifically, as we kind of teed up in the intro, we're going to be talking about The Empire Strikes Back. It's the 45-year anniversary this year for this film. So we had to revisit this classic that's absolutely beloved. This is particularly a really fun one to collect and collage all different perspectives and voices from our film friends on, because people love this film. It's iconic. It's a classic. And so people have thoughts. And our framing question for today is, what is your favorite scene? Each member that's part of this collab episode has, I think we gave them, 5 minutes each? to share?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. 3 to 5 minutes. So we are also going to try and hold ourselves to that limit as well, which should be fun and interesting. It's like, but now it's like a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to do it.
Yep.
I believe in us.
Yep. I agree. I'm keeping my eye on our little clock at the top of our screen here. So, yeah, let's dive right in. So, Sarah, what's your favorite scene from The Empire Strikes Back, and why did that one immediately stand out to you?
Yeah. So as I was thinking about, what is my favorite scene in The Empire Strikes Back, there are so many really great ones to choose from. And I really came down to what brought me the most joy upon this last rewatch. And it has to be the introduction of Yoda. I love Yoda as a character, and I love the way that this film introduces us to him because he is unlike any Jedi that we have seen before. It's this really isolated planet. Luke thinks that he's all alone, wondering what he's going to do next, and then out pops this little weird green guy who just starts like ransacking Luke's camp. And it's just this moment of levity and silliness, and this random dude is here now who just seems like this chaos monster, and we actually learn that it is this incredible Jedi master of Yoda. And I love the way that Yoda is introduced. Shout out to Frank Oz and the entire team who helps bring him to life, because he is so expressive. There's so much going on with him, and that takes immense skill to do. And so I love that scene. It's so much fun. And I think it's also this really interesting subversive thing that this film is doing, because Yoda is so different, so unexpected to be as powerful as he is. And we just get introduced to him in this really whimsy, silly little moment. And I just love that.
He definitely subverts the expectations, and
It's great.
I forgot actually how much of a chaos monster he is in that scene. I think we recently reviewed this film and got to watch it again, and I hadn't seen this movie in probably like 5 to 8 years. It's been a while. It's been a minute. And I forgot all those little bits of Yoda, like going through his food and like eating, scouring for food in his knapsack, and all of those little bits. He's just, for the movie, lets Yoda be a little monster for a good chunk of time too. It doesn't like reveal that he is a great Jedi master too soon. We just kind of like sit with this like weird creature on this strange planet for a minute, and I think it actually plays up the big reveal of like, oh no, you are the renowned Jedi master. You what? And I just love, like, at a meta level, just the way that power can come from and greatness can come from even the smallest, most unexpected of places. That I think is just also really meaningful, because you see how much Luke is expecting this like majestic, all-powerful, royal being to show up before him, and instead he gets Yoda.
Oh, it's so great, because like the Jedi that Luke has known is Obi-Wan, and
Yeah.
he is so different than Yoda. So it's so funny to watch Luke be so frustrated by this little green dude who just showed up and is eating his food. And then obviously the reveal, like, oh my gosh, this dude is amazing. He's legit. So I love that introduction to Yoda. I think it's so fun.
Yoda proves that we can do it all, okay? Like, you can be great and wield the powers of the universe, and also just be a little shit sometimes, and be silly and be goofy and have fun, and like like all of that is all within him. It's great. It's so great.
We don't need to be so serious all the time.
No,
Sometimes
so
we can just be
exhausting.
a silly little guy who just wants a snack.
Yes, exactly. That's a great moment. I remember also thinking about, in our most recent watch of this film, how much it would have been really thrilling to see that scene for the first time without all of the like deeply ingrained pop culture like fabric that we just live in now. I mean, I watched this like pretty late in life, I would say, and obviously like it's been a staple. Everyone knows who Yoda is and everything about him at that point. And it's just infiltrated so deeply into pop culture. But imagine being in the 80s, seeing this for the first time, and that the true like white canvas that people got to experience this scene with is also just a fun thought exercise, because that's not the case now. Like, if you don't know who Yoda is, like, you will encounter him by the age of 2 if you live in the United States in some way. He's just everywhere, you know? That piece of IP is so intertwined with our culture. So to have experienced that freshly and cleanly for this first time must have been so exciting too.
Right? Because you would be just as frustrated as Luke was in that scene, because you don't know who this little guy is. Like, what are you doing? Messing with our dude. And yeah, that would have been so much fun to experience.
Yep.
But it's still fun to experience, even with all the knowledge that we have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So fun. So fun.
Okay, so we have gone on for quite a while about my favorite scene. So Jen, what is your favorite scene from The Empire Strikes Back?
Oh my gosh. I had trouble picking this because there's so many great ones and so many just iconic moments in this. But I think this scene stood out to me because I was captivated the first time. On our recent watch again, just also captivated again. And just how many layers there are to this scene is so fun for my mind to just sink my teeth into. So my favorite scene from The Empire Strikes Back is Luke seeing his own face in Vader's helmet when he's on Dagobah. I love this scene for so many reasons. One of them is that it's the perfect example of using visual storytelling with the medium of film to convey so much about this character, about this world, about the rules of how the Force works, the temptations of the Force. It conveys all of that in this one image, in this like few short minute scene. We experience fully what Yoda's been talking about the entire time of being careful and being aware of how much it's easy to be tempted by the evil in the Force. But then also there's so much meaning in there about the inner turmoil and journey that Luke is going on right now of realizing how much he's capable of, but also the fear he has about that. There's also incredible, spoiler alert, foreshadowing of Luke seeing his own face in Vader's helmet, and perhaps, you know, the poetic way that that showcases how connected they are, that he is of the same kin of Vader. Vader is his father. You know, all of that is foreshadowed. So I just love how layered and symbolic and poetic this shot is. And I think it comes at such a great moment in the film as well, because we had up until this point been seeing so much of Luke's training, all of the sessions he's been having with Yoda. And the drama, the tenseness of this scene is so rich as well. And it really casts this really foreboding shadow over what is awaiting Luke, our main character that we're following. So I love how layered this is. I love how many ways you could interpret this. And then I love just the visual storytelling of this scene. So I just love this scene so much. I think it's the perfect example of just what makes film so great, and then what makes storytelling and pacing so great.
Oh, yes. This is such a good scene. It's such a shocking scene, too, when you watch it the first time, to see Luke in this position and the implication of him in some way being tied to Vader, because the film has correctly built up Darth Vader as this really evil, malevolent force. And so then for Luke to then see his face under the mask is just shocking. Like, how is this dude who we have been following, how is our hero somehow connected to this really evil villain? And I love how like shocking that is, and just the way that it is filmed too just highlights how frightening that would have been for Luke to experience. And like you said, it's so thematically rich as well. Like, it's such a great scene, and yeah, a beautiful way to communicate so much to us as the audience without having to spell anything out. Like, no words are spoken. We're just seeing visually what's going on. And the film trusts us to pick up what it's trying to say. And it It's such a well done moment. Ah, I love that you picked this scene. It's so powerful and so pivotal to the film.
Yeah, it feels like this turning point. And also, just shout out to the way that the writers teed up this scene too, because beforehand you have Luke so confident, like walking into the mist, and Yoda's like, "Are you sure you're ready?" And Luke's like, "Yeah, I've got it." And then we see this anger, we see this rage, we see this instinctual desire to attack when he sees Vader immediately in that misty forest, and then the reveal of the face in the helmet. It's just the way it's like progressed to that shocking reveal is also perfect for making that reveal be so great. It's so good.
It is so good. Oh, I love that you picked this too, because it's not this big like action set piece.
Yeah.
And there's some really good action set pieces in this
Right?
film. Even though it's 45 years old, this film still looks great. But I love that you picked this one that is so meaningful and is still so tense too, without there really being any action. So once again, shout out to the writing, the entire production team for pulling off such a great scene with just themes and us understanding the stakes of this world.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so much goodness to choose from in this film. I'm so curious to see what all of our friends are going to pick and some of their thoughts and reasonings for why those really just resonated with them deeply, or they just loved it. It just was like makes them laugh every time. Whatever it might be, we're excited to hear those. So, okay, we're gonna hold ourselves to our beholden to our rules, and so we're gonna cut ourselves off here. We could probably rave about these two scenes for longer, but we're gonna include some of the voices from our fellow film friends right here.
Hey, this is Andrew Corns from the Revisionist Almanac, and I am honored to be part of this project that Jen and Sarah have put together for the 45th anniversary of one of the greatest films in cinematic history. My podcast is all about looking back on past Oscar ceremonies and determining what the voters in a specific year got right and got wrong for Best Picture, Best Director, and the Acting Awards. And I can't wait to have Jen and Sarah join me later in 2025 to talk about a really fun film year. You can find my show wherever you get your podcasts, and follow me on every social media platform by searching the handle Rev Almanac. The original Star Wars trilogy has been part of my life for as long as I can remember, and it's so integral in why I love movies as much as I do. The OG Star Wars in 1977 set quite the high bar, but somehow, just 3 years later, George Lucas and company returned with something larger, more grand, and more memorable. Now, I could point out a number of iconic moments that I enjoy revisiting, including the Battle of Hoth, Luke learning from that crazy old eccentric puppet Jedi Master Yoda on Dagobah, or the introduction of that scoundrel Lando Calrissian. But when it comes to the defining scene of the movie, one can look no further than the climactic lightsaber battle between Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker. It's masterful filmmaking on all levels. It's exquisitely lit to highlight the colors of the lightsabers amongst the darkness of the background. It utilizes the legendary John Williams score to enhance the tension, and it features choreography that simultaneously shows the power and the force of Darth Vader while letting us see how much Luke has learned from his time under the tutelage of Obi-Wan Kenobi and Yoda. And to top it all off, it brings, for my money, the single greatest plot reveal in the history of film. A jaw-dropping moment that sets up the third installment of the trilogy to define all trilogies. So if you're hearing this and thinking, wow, Andrew, you really love this film, there's only one way I can answer that. As Han Solo said right before he was frozen in carbonite, I know. Thanks for listening, and I can't wait to hear what the rest of the contributors have to say about their love of Empire Strikes Back.
Hey there, I'm Frankie Sparks.
And I'm Scott Eisenberg.
And we are Shoot the Flick.
We are.
We just featured on an episode of Movies and Us talking about The Empire Strikes Back.
Ooh.
And we wanted to come on to talk about our favorite scenes in the movie for the little bonus episode here.
Ah.
So, Scott, do you want to start?
Ladies first, my wife first. It's,
Oh,
how it
how
goes.
nice of you.
I do what I do.
Before we get into this, though, I will say if you want to check out some other movie podcasts, like, I don't know, our movie podcast, maybe Shoot the Flick, where a husband and wife show each other new movies every single week, feel free to check us out on all the places that pods are casted. You can check us out on Instagram and Twitter at Shoot the Flick as well, and all those type things.
Yes.
And yeah, so when I was thinking about my favorite scene of Empire Strikes Back was, there's obviously a lot of iconic options to choose from. I decided to settle on the Han gets frozen in carbonite scene / I love you, I know.
Yes.
That's probably my favorite scene of the movie for many reasons. I love, not just the iconic line delivery from Han of I know instead of I love you, but I love when they're going to freeze Han in the carbonite, that Chewie loses his absolute mind and starts howling at people and throwing troopers around. And yeah, I love the relationship between Han and Leia. I love the part at the end of the scene where Lando is about to take Leia off and Darth Vader's like, no, I have altered the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further. It's just a very intense scene on a lot of levels.
Indeed.
And it's, I would imagine at the time when it first came out, it was a big moment.
Yep. I'm sure it was. It's one of the biggest scenes in the movie, period. Hell, we have the shirts.
Yes, we did when we went to Disney World, and we went to, I don't think Star Wars Land was totally completed when we
Nope.
went last time to Disney World, but we got shirts. His says I love you, and it's got Han on it. Or no, mine says I love you.
Yes.
And yours says I know.
Indeed.
And mine
it
has
does.
Leia and his has Han, obviously. So yeah, that's probably my favorite scene in the movie. It's the one that came to my mind first, so that makes the most sense to me.
It is a great scene, and I could go with the other huge scene, Luke, I am your father. I do jokingly joke with the no.
You jokingly joke.
I jokingly joke with the no, that's impossible.
Yeah, that's a lot. That was a lot, Mark Hamill.
It is a lot, but I think the scene I'm going to choose is Luke fighting Darth Vader in the swamp. It's just a really powerful scene of Luke facing his darkness, and he cuts off Darth Vader's head, and it's him on the inside. You're like, oh my God. I just think it's a great, powerful message of, everyone has darkness inside of them, and Luke could easily fall down this path. It also has, the familial things that are hinted at here that get flushed out later. So it's a lot to do in this small little scene, and I think it's a scene that often gets forgotten amongst the bigger moments of this movie. And I just think it's a fun scene.
Yeah. I think when people think of the swamp in general and Dagobah?
Yes.
Yeah, I got it right. Okay. So obviously Scott is the bigger Star Wars nerd between the two of us. But when I think about that part of the movie, and I assume a lot of people when they think of that part, they're just like, oh, it's the Yoda stuff where the Muppets running around eating Luke's food and so that's a nice scene.
It is.
Despite the fact that his training took all of 5 minutes, but that's okay.
Well,
It's fine.
He didn't complete his training, Frankie.
Right. No, the full course was 10 minutes, but he skipped out on the end there.
It's fine. It's how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't complete his training. Luke never completes his training.
True.
And yet he opens a Jedi temple, but that's another story here and there.
Well, let's not listen. We already did this on the actual review episode where we kept referencing other movies, particularly Last Jedi. We kept hinting at that, to I'm sure many people's chagrin. But yeah, so I think those were our favorite scenes. There's a lot of really great ones to choose from, but those were ours.
Yes.
Again, this is Frankie and Scott of Shoot the Flick. We just want to thank the girls over at Movies and us for inviting us on to talk about Empire. It was really, really fun.
It was.
And yeah, check us out on all the social medias and the podcasting places.
Yes.
May the 4th be with you even when it's not the 4th. Ha.
And beware the revenge of the 5th.
Oh no.
Hi there, this is Will Polk, co-host and producer of the Scene and Nerd podcast with our host, Sarah Belmont. Thanks to the Movies and Us podcast team for asking me to come and share my favorite scene from Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back. Before I give that, though, you can find our podcast at www.sceneandnerdpodcast.com, where you can follow us and find us wherever you get your podcast. And also, it has the links to all our social media sites as well. So with that, let me turn to my favorite scene and memorable scene of Empire Strikes Back. And there's so many to choose from, but I will have to say that the lightsaber duel between Luke and Vader on Cloud City is my most favorite memorable scene. And it's my go-to scene whenever I think about other lightsaber battles in Star Wars. This one to me is the gold standard because it had just such a level of emotional and physical depth to it. We see Vader's overwhelming prowess and power in that scene. We see Luke's vulnerability and his inexperience on full display whenever he has to confront Vader. And what was so memorable about this scene and why it just seems for me the next level from other maybe more flashy from a choreography or acrobatic standpoint of other Star Wars lightsaber battles is just the stakes. I mean, by the end of it, of course, leading to the big reveal at the end of the battle of Vader being Luke's father, but just the physical and emotional toil that Luke has in this fight. I mean, he's holding, he's getting some good licks in when the battle is taking place, but then Vader just wears him down as the fight goes, and he just gets beaten and battered. And whenever they're in the control room there, he just uses the Force to have all the things come to Luke in the room, beating him up physically, just wearing him down. And then Luke is just exhausted. And then he does the epic mic drop of the fact that he is his father. So all the physical aspects of it, tied with the emotional aspects of it, the choreography, John Williams' score, all the lighting, the everything about the atmospherics of that very critical moment in the third act of The Empire Strikes Back really makes it such a memorable battle and memorable lightsaber battle and a memorable scene for that movie, because it's the culmination of all the things that has happened in that movie up to that point, as far as the rebellion being beaten off of Hoth and the rebel base being discovered there, all the lessons that Yoda was trying to share with Luke when he was doing his training. And I think about the Dagobah, the cave scene where, it was a cave of evil. And in that moment, Luke was able to vanquish Vader in that vision. And so we're showing him growing as far as his Jedi journey, but at the same time, as he rushed off to go to Cloud City to rescue his friends, Yoda, reminded Luke of the cave. And unfortunately, the lessons that Luke learned in the cave weren't enough at this juncture in his Jedi career to be able to defeat Vader there in Cloud City. So that's my favorite scene and memorable scene from Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back. Of course, it's probably a lot of people's favorite scenes, but those are some of my thoughts as far as why that one stands out to me in that film. So thank you so much again to the team at Movies and Us podcast. And be sure to check out our podcast wherever you get your podcast. Take care.
All right. It was so amazing to hear from all of our fellow film friends about some of their favorite scenes. Just a really great way for us to also celebrate the 45-year anniversary of this iconic film. This has been an exciting first entry into our new series, the And Us Voices series, so we're just excited for more to come in the coming weeks and months ahead, and stay tuned to see what we pick next and what our new kind of framing prompt is for some of those films that are coming up soon. But in the meantime, thank you for listening to this week's episode of And Us Voices. And a big thank you to Andrew from the Revisionist Almanac podcast, Frankie and Scott from Shoot the Flick podcast, and Will from Scene and Nerd podcast for contributing to today's episode. Be sure to check out the show notes of this episode to see how you can connect with each of them. They're so amazing. We absolutely love them. So please go follow them. Check out some of their content for more of all that goodness. Be sure to subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you tune into your favorite shows. Drop us a rating and review, letting us know your thoughts or maybe some of your picks for favorite scene for The Empire Strikes Back. You can connect with us on Instagram, Threads, and TikTok at MoviesNestPod, or on our website, andusmedia.co. Keep an eye on this feed. We'll be back soon with more Movies and Us reviews coming up very soon here. We've got a great lineup coming out soon. In the meantime, we hope you have an amazing week, and we'll talk again with y'all very soon.